An alien veterinarian stood frozen in the emergency bay. His patient was dying. He knew exactly what to do, but his hands wouldn't move. The creature on the table wasn't just any animal. It was a Terran species, and according to galactic law, he couldn't touch it. The alien's medical scanner beeped faster. Critical vitals. Time was running out. He'd treated thousands of species across 17 star systems. He'd saved creatures with 4 hearts and beings made of living crystal. But this simple mammal from Earth? He was legally forbidden from helping. Then a human walked in. No fancy equipment. No advanced degrees from the core world's academies. Just a small medical kit and a calm voice. The human leaned close to the thrashing animal and whispered 2 words, "Easy, buddy." What happened next shocked every species in the medical station. But the truth behind this will shock you even more. See, this wasn't just about one animal. This was the moment the entire galaxy realized they'd been wrong about humans for decades. Wrong about their medicine. Wrong about their methods. And terrifyingly wrong about what they were capable of. Here's what nobody expected. First, the human completely ignored technology that cost more than a starship. Second, he used a technique so ancient that most civilizations had deleted it from their databases. And third, the results were so impossible that 3 separate medical boards launched investigations. The alien vet had spent 12 years in the most prestigious medical program in the galaxy. The human? He learned his skills in a small clinic on a backwater planet. Yet only one of them could save this life. Let me show you exactly how this happened and why it terrified every advanced species in known space. The Galactic Veterinary Union controlled all animal medicine across 47 member worlds. They had one sacred rule: species-specific treatment only. Kelvorian vets treat Kelvorian animals. Xenthian doctors handle Xenthian livestock. Never cross those lines. The logic seemed perfect. Each species evolved differently. Different chemistries. Different biologies. One species' cure could be another's poison. So they built walls. Hard walls. Legal walls. Break them and lose your license forever. The station orbiting Kepler 442 processed sick animals from trading ships. Thousands passed through every cycle. The facility gleamed with technology. Scanners that could detect a single damaged cell. Surgical lasers guided by quantum computers. Medicine synthesized at the molecular level. Everything cutting edge. Everything expensive. Everything specialized. Dr. Xen'tar had worked there for 6 standard years. Top of his class. He could diagnose a Vreen blood parasite in seconds. He'd successfully treated a crystalline Ander whose entire body was technically non-organic. His success rate? 97%. Then a human cargo ship docked. Emergency call. One of their animals was sick. Something called a dog. Xen'tar checked his database. Terran canine. Carbon-based mammal. Simple biology compared to most species. He pulled up the treatment protocols. His screen flashed red. Species restricted. Terran Biological Treaty, Section 7. Requires human-certified practitioner. Xen'tar's antenna flattened in confusion. A treaty? For such a simple species? He requested an override. Denied. The system was absolute. He could perform surgery on a creature with acid blood. But this small furry mammal? Forbidden. Here's the first surprise. Humans had insisted on that treaty. Most species fought to have their animals treated by anyone qualified. It speeded up care. Saved lives. But humans? They'd threatened to leave the Galactic Union entirely unless this clause was added. Nobody understood why. The human biology was primitive. Their medicine was centuries behind. What were they protecting? The cargo ship captain was frantic. His dog, Max, was fading fast. Breathing shallow. Temperature dropping. The nearest human vet was 3 systems away. 4-day journey at emergency speed. Max had hours, maybe less. Now here's where things get really interesting. Because the human they called? He wasn't even supposed to be in this sector. Dr. James Chen arrived in 40 minutes. Impossible, everyone said. The closest human ship was days out. But Chen had been planetside on Kepler 442b. Pure luck. Or maybe fate. He walked into the medical bay wearing old boots and a jacket that had seen better years. No pristine medical uniform. No robotic assistance. Just a weathered bag slung over his shoulder. Xen'tar looked at him and felt his confidence waver. This was their expert? Chen didn't waste time on introductions. He moved straight to Max. The dog was seizing now. White foam at the mouth. Eyes rolling back. The advanced monitors screamed alerts. Numbers cascading down screens. Red lights everywhere. Xen'tar started listing symptoms. Elevated neural readings. Cardiovascular stress at level 9. Toxin markers in sectors 4 through. Stop! Chen held up one hand. He didn't look at the screens. He looked at Max. Just looked. His eyes traced the dog's body. Watched the breathing pattern. Observed the muscle contractions. 20 seconds of silence. Then Chen did something that made Xen'tar's blood run cold. He turned off the monitors. All of them. The room went quiet except for Max's labored breathing. What are you doing? Xen'tar couldn't hide his horror. Those systems cost. Getting in my way. Chen knelt beside the table. He placed both hands on Max's chest. Closed his eyes. Completely still. The other alien medical staff stopped working. They watched. Some recorded on their devices. This had to be some ritual. Some primitive ceremony before accepting defeat. Humans were emotional about their animals. Everyone knew that. This must be his goodbye. But here's what nobody expected. Chen's face changed. His eyes snapped open. He ate something. Something blue. Flowering plant. Within the last 4 hours. The ship captain gasped. The cargo bay. We picked up supplies on Xen'tar 3. There were, yes, blue flowers in some of the crates. I saw Max sniffing around there this morning. Xen'tar pulled up his database immediately. Xen'tar flora. Cross-referenced with Terran biology. His computer churned through millions of data points. Molecular structure analysis. Predicted interactions. The answer came back in 40 seconds. Xen'tar blue lotus. Fatal to Terran canines. No known antidote. Mortality rate, 100%. The room went silent. Even the other aliens stopped pretending to work. 100%. The computer never lied. Chen just nodded. Yeah, that matches. He opened his bag. Started pulling out items. Vials. Syringes. Strange tools. Nothing connected to the station's power grid. Nothing digital. You have an antidote? Xen'tar leaned forward. The database says. Your database is wrong. Chen prepared a syringe. Or rather, it's incomplete. It doesn't know what I know. But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear what Chen did next. Because he didn't just treat Max. He did something that broke every medical rule in the galaxy. Chen injected 3 different substances into Max. Not from a computerized dispenser. From glass vials he'd mixed himself. Each one looked different. Different colors. Different viscosities. Xen'tar recognized none of them in his pharmaceutical database. What are those compounds? Xen'tar asked. As the station's chief vet, he had legal authority to know. I need chemical compositions for the records. Chen didn't look up. Activated charcoal suspension. Bentonite clay solution. And something my grandmother taught me to make from specific earth plants. Xen'tar felt his scales prickle. Folk medicine? You're using folk medicine? On a dying patient. I'm using medicine that works. Chen's hands moved with absolute confidence. He massaged Max's abdomen in specific patterns. Pressure points, Xen'tar realized. Ancient mammalian anatomy knowledge. Your computers are amazing. They can simulate a billion scenarios. But they don't understand adaptation. Here's what the galaxy had forgotten. Humans evolved on a death world. Earth wasn't just dangerous because of predators or weather. It was dangerous because of constant change. Bacteria that evolved resistance. Viruses that mutated weakly. Plants that developed new toxins. Parasites that adapted to every drug. Human medicine didn't advance in sterile labs with quantum computers. It advanced in trenches, in jungles, in streets during plagues. In desperate moments when the textbook answer failed and someone had to improvise or watch people die. Every human doctor carried something the aliens never developed: improvisational intelligence. The ability to see patterns across seemingly unrelated things. To connect ancient knowledge with new problems. To trust instinct when data ran out. Chen explained while he worked. Your medical system is perfect for stable situations. Known disease plus known treatment equals predictable outcome. But Max didn't eat a known poison. He ate something from another world. Your database only includes things your species have encountered and documented. And you've encountered Xen'tar Blue Lotus before? Xen'tar was skeptical. No, but I've treated dogs who ate hundreds of toxic plants on Earth. Oleander, sago palm, azalea, foxglove. Each one different. Each one requires understanding the mechanism. Chen checked Max's gums. This poison works like cardiac glycosides. I've treated that mechanism 60 times. Different plant, same attack pattern. Max's breathing started to stabilize. Slightly. Enough to be noticeable. Xen'tar checked the monitors that were still offline. He couldn't. He activated a handheld scanner secretly. The readings made no sense. Max's cellular degradation was reversing. Not possible. The toxin had already bonded to cardiac tissue. Permanent damage. Irreversible. That's what the data said. How are you doing this? Xen'tar whispered. Chen finally looked at him. Your species separated medicine into specialties. Heart doctors, blood doctors, neural doctors, each expert in their tiny field. We can't afford that luxury. Every human vet has to understand the whole system. Because on Earth, nothing kills you in just one way. Everything cascades. You have to see the whole picture or you lose the patient. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all. Because Chen's methods weren't just different. They represented something the galaxy thought was primitive. But it was actually far more advanced than anyone realized. 20 minutes later, Max lifted his head. 30 minutes after that, he was breathing normally. Within an hour, he was weak but stable. According to every piece of galactic medical science, he should be dead. Instead, he licked Chen's hand. The ship captain cried. Actual tears. He hugged his dog gently. Thank you. Thank you. The other vet said. The other vet did exactly what he was trained to do. Chen packed his equipment. He followed the rules. Can't blame him for that. But Xen'tar couldn't let it go. I need to understand. My entire education, everything I learned, it says this was impossible. How did you override cellular death? Chen sat down. He looked tired. I didn't override anything. I worked with Max's own biology. That's the secret your medical system never learned. Here's what the Galactic Veterinary Union had done wrong for centuries. They'd built medicine around controlling the body. Override this system. Suppress that response. Force healing through external intervention. It worked. Most of the time. But it required perfect knowledge. Perfect tools. Perfect conditions. Human medicine was built on a different foundation. The body wants to heal itself. Every Terran organism evolved with incredible self-repair mechanisms. Cuts close. Bones mend. Infections fight themselves. The doctor's job isn't to heal. It's to remove obstacles and support natural recovery. Chen explained it simply. Max's body knew the poison was there. It was already fighting. But the toxin was winning because it worked faster than his natural defenses. I didn't cure him. I bought his immune system time. The charcoal bound some toxin in his gut. The clay helped his liver filter it faster. The plant medicine supported his heart while his cells repaired damage. But the cellular damage was catastrophic, Xen'tar protested. I saw it on the scans. Catastrophic isn't dead. Terran biology is incredibly resilient. We evolved to survive things that would kill most species. Starvation, dehydration, blood loss, temperature extremes. Our bodies fight to the last second. You just have to give them a chance. The room was silent. Every alien in the medical bay was listening now. Some were recording. This would spread across the station within hours. across the sector within days. Xen'tar felt something he'd never experienced before. His medical knowledge, so vast and detailed, suddenly felt incomplete. Not wrong, just partial, like he'd been reading half a book his entire life. "Teach me," he said quietly. "I want to learn this." Chen smiled. "You sure? It's not about better technology. It's about worse technology used better. Sometimes the old ways work because they're simpler, more flexible, more forgiving. I watched you save a life I declared unsavable." "Yes, I'm sure." What neither of them knew was that this conversation was being monitored. Not just by the station, by the Galactic Medical Council itself. And what Chen had just done triggered something no one expected. A complete review of medical training across all member worlds. So what does all this mean for us today? The video from that medical bay went viral. Not just among veterinarians. Every species saw it. The simple human with his basic tools. The dying animal that shouldn't have survived. The moment when old knowledge beat cutting-edge technology. Within 3 standard months, 47 medical schools across 12 different worlds requested human medical consultants. Not to learn Terran biology, to learn Terran methods, the holistic approach, the improvisational thinking, the pattern recognition that didn't require a database. But here's where it gets complicated. The Galactic Medical Council was terrified. For good reason. Their entire system was built on specialization and standardization. Precise protocols for precise situations. If doctors started improvising, what happened to quality control? What about safety standards? What about accountability when something went wrong? They sent investigators to Chen. Reviewed his training, his credentials, his methods. They found something disturbing. By galactic standards, Chen was barely qualified. He'd learned from apprenticeship, not academy. His tools were primitive. His success rate, 99.4%. Higher than almost every licensed galactic veterinarian. The implications were massive. The galaxy had spent centuries building the most advanced medical system possible. Trillions of credits in research. Facilities that could save almost any life. Almost. But they'd hit a wall. Certain problems couldn't be solved with more technology. More specialization. More data. They needed something they'd dismissed as primitive, generalist knowledge. Intuitive understanding. The ability to work without perfect information. Exactly what Death Worlds forced humans to develop. Think about it practically. On most civilized worlds, medicine happened in controlled environments. Clean facilities. Stable patients. Time to consult databases. Run tests. Conference with specialists. Perfect conditions. But what about accidents in deep space? Emergency situations on frontier colonies? Natural disasters? Suddenly, perfect conditions vanished. Suddenly, advanced technology became a crutch these doctors couldn't walk without. Humans trained differently because Earth never gave them perfect conditions. Village doctors worked alone with limited supplies. Field medics treated soldiers in combat. Veterinarians visited remote farms where power was optional. They learned to adapt, to improvise, to save lives with whatever they had available. The galaxy's medical system was technically superior. Absolutely. But it was also fragile. Remove the technology and it collapsed. Human medicine? Strip away everything except knowledge and experience, and it still functioned. Crude, yes. Limited, definitely. But functional. 3 human medical schools received applications from over 2,000 alien students within the first year. The courses they offered weren't advanced. They were fundamental. Basic anatomy, observation skills, pattern recognition, diagnostic reasoning without computers, ancient techniques for modern problems. The most prestigious medical institution in the core worlds, the Xen'tar Academy of Medical Sciences, added a new required course. Adaptive emergency medicine, taught by humans, the very species they'd looked down on for decades. The species whose doctors didn't even use quantum diagnostic arrays. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know. Because this story isn't just about medicine. It's about what happened when the galaxy realized humans had been hiding other advantages too. 6 months after Max's recovery, Dr. Chen received a message. Not from the Galactic Medical Council. From the Interspecies Defense Coalition. Military. They wanted to talk. Urgently. Turned out the military had been watching the medical revolution closely. If human doctors could save lives that advanced technology couldn't, what else could humans do that seemed impossible? They started reviewing human history, battle records, survival stories, crisis responses. The pattern was terrifying. Humans regularly succeeded in situations where they should have failed. Outgunned soldiers winning battles through improvisation. Stranded colonists surviving on hostile worlds with zero support. Engineers repairing critical systems using parts never designed to work together. Over and over, humans turned impossible situations into unlikely victories. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was the same skill Chen demonstrated. Adaptive intelligence. The ability to function when conditions weren't perfect. When the textbook answer didn't exist. When you had to create solutions from nothing but knowledge, experience, and creativity. The aliens had built their civilization on optimization. Everything designed for peak efficiency under ideal conditions. Incredible performance. But terrible flexibility. Change the conditions slightly and their systems struggled. Change them drastically and everything broke. Humans built systems assuming conditions would be terrible. Assuming equipment would fail. Assuming they'd be outmatched and undersupplied. So they developed backup plans. And backups for the backups. And the ability to abandon all plans and improvise something entirely new. The Defense Coalition made humanity an offer. Train their officers in adaptive tactics. Teach their engineers improvisational problem-solving. Share the mindset that turned impossible odds into manageable challenges. In exchange, humanity would receive technology transfers worth more than Earth's entire economy. Chen turned them down. So did every human medical school they approached. Not because of the money, because of something the aliens still didn't understand. You can't teach adaptation in a classroom. You can't download improvisation. You develop those skills through experience, through failure, through desperate situations where you either figure it out or people die. The galaxy wanted the benefits without the cost. They wanted human adaptability without the death world that forged it. Impossible. So instead, humans made a different offer: partnership. Work together. Combine advanced alien technology with human practical knowledge. Let each species contribute their strengths. Build something better than either could create alone. Some aliens agreed. Others refused, too proud to admit they needed help from a primitive species. But the ones who agreed, they started winning. In medicine, in engineering, in every field where problems didn't have perfect solutions. If this opened your eyes to how different intelligences can complement each other, you need to hear what happened next. Let's recap what we just discovered. First, the galaxy's most advanced medical system couldn't save a simple dog because it was too specialized and inflexible. Second, one human vet succeeded using ancient techniques and adaptive thinking that computers couldn't replicate. Third, this revealed that humanity's greatest advantage wasn't technology but the survival skills forced on us by evolving on a death world. And here's the biggest takeaway. Advanced doesn't always mean better. Sometimes the most sophisticated solution is actually the most fragile. Simple, flexible approaches that can adapt to changing conditions often outperform perfect systems designed for perfect circumstances. This story is completely fictional, but it explores a fascinating concept. What if the things we think make us primitive are actually hidden advantages? What if our ability to improvise, to work with limited resources, to find solutions when the rulebook fails, is actually more valuable than we realize? In real life, we see this pattern constantly. Large companies with massive resources get disrupted by small startups. Expensive equipment fails while simple tools keep working. Specialists struggle with unusual problems while generalists find creative solutions. The principle is the same. Flexibility and adaptability beat raw power when conditions aren't ideal. If you enjoyed this exploration of humanity's hidden strengths in a galactic setting, hit that subscribe button. This channel explores stories where human traits we take for granted, stubbornness, creativity, emotional connections, improvisation, turn out to be rare and powerful advantages in science fiction scenarios. We upload 3 times a week. Drop a like if this story made you think differently about human capabilities. The algorithm needs to know you want more content like this. Seriously, that like button is how we reach more people who appreciate thoughtful sci-fi that explores what makes humanity special. Now here's what I want from you in the comments. What human trait do you think would be most valuable in a galactic civilization? Is it our adaptability like in this story? Our persistence? Our emotional bonds? Our creativity? Our stubbornness? Write your answer and explain why. I read every comment and the best insights might inspire future stories. For those who want to go deeper, I've got a playlist called Humanity's Hidden Advantages, linked in the description. 12 stories exploring different scenarios where human traits surprise alien civilizations. From our pack-bonding instincts that seem weird to solo-species aliens, to our risk-taking behavior that terrifies safety-focused cultures, to our artistic creativity that some species literally cannot comprehend. Binge the whole series if you want your mind expanded. And if you're really into this genre, check out the community tab where we discuss upcoming story ideas and vote on which concepts to explore next. Your input directly shapes this channel's content. Next video drops in 2 days. It's about a human soldier who gets captured by an alien empire and ends up teaching their military academy. Because humans are the only species that actually studies how to lose wars and come back stronger. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.